This is the first battle between me and Telemnar Numenorean. I picked the map and the faction. I picked Carthage on the pyramids, and Telemnar countered with Tylis, and I thought that was pretty funny because I played a lot against the Prussian Prince earlier today, and we played Carthage versus Tylis, and I don't think Carthage won a single one of those matchups. It was just Tylis just won every single battle, and the two most important units for Tylis are no doubt the tribal warriors with their high health and armor, and the raiding horse. Raiding horse, just so good skirmish cavalry. They can skirmish like any other skirmish cavalry, but in addition to that, they have a very high melee attack, good charge bonus, weapon damage, and armor. So in the late game, going for rear charges and skirmishers with these units, devastating. And they can also deal with elephants fairly effectively. So my build first, I didn't bring elephants, mainly because of these raiding horsemen. I brought 3 units of Carthaginian cavalry, I brought 6 units of Libyan infantry, 2 late Libyan hoplites, 3 mercenary Iberian swords, 2 mercenary Balearic slingers, and general's bodyguard. That's it. Very cavalry heavy. And I picked the map, the pyramids, because it's a hot map, so the units of Tylis are going to fatigue quicker than my units. But I think I chose the winter season, so I messed up there. I was going to rely on the tribal warriors, the Oathsworn, to get exhausted, and the raiding horsemen getting exhausted before engaging, and then becoming even becoming less effective in melee because of the exhaustion. It looks like I messed up there and picked winter because there was a winter tournament yesterday, and I kept the settings from that. So significant advantage that I could have gotten just from picking the right map is probably negated by this not being summer. So messed up there, because I specifically picked the Libyan infantry and the Carthaginian cavalry and the late Libyan hoplites because they have a resistance to heat. But that won't matter now, and you'll see why that is very important a bit later. So I have some of my Iberian swords. I'm just going to keep them turned, so they'll be able to fire javelins at the incoming raiding horsemen if they decide to go and snipe my general. I'm just leaving my general here as sort of bait for the raiding horse to come in and throw their javelins. Always annoying to have a unit of raiding horse in your rear like this. But the forest here is going to slow them down, and the mercenary Iberian swords are going to be able to throw javelins at them. So I have my entire rear covered by Iberian swords here. Now my Iberian slingers are going to start pouring down a bit of fire, but they have to pull back because there are some very aggressive Celtic warriors coming in. I'm just going to give them a cavalry charge to the front. They won't have time to throw their javelins. They'll get knocked down. Not the best timed charge here, because this charge is better, because here I'm going to be able to charge in, and then my infantry is in close support rushing in. This is a lot more effective. Just look at how quickly these Celtic warriors are dropping now. Amazingly fast. And I'm losing some cavalry as well. But the Celtic warriors are going to get destroyed by Libyan infantry here. And I did sort of mess up by having my Libyan infantry on formation attack. That's the first mistake I do. Or the second mistake, because the first mistake was not having a summer map. Celtic warriors getting destroyed by Libyan infantry. The Celtic warriors that got charged are dying a lot quicker than the other ones. So here I'm able to do some damage to the raiding horse, but their armor is going to save them for a little while against my mercenary Iberians. So I'm using this unit of Carthaginian cavalry to bait the javelins, and then to use the mercenary Iberian swords to try to do the damage that I need to do. And I'm keeping my mercenary Samnites in reserve here because I want to send them in a bit later. Oathsworn taking fire from my Iberian slingers. And here's the third mistake I do. My Iberian slingers are kind of bunched up like this, so they're not able to fire at full effect. Still doing some damage. The raiding horse is at a comfortable distance. This noble horse is worryingly close to my lines. If that's able to get to my skirmishers, then it's going to be very difficult for me to win, because my plan here is to snipe the enemy general. He's already taking a lot of fire here. So snipe the enemy general and then kite away from the very dangerous tribal warriors than Oathsworn. So he's keeping his Oathsworn in reserve, very smart, seeing where he's going to put them. Levy Freeman with 3 upgrades getting charged by Mercenary Iberian Swords. The Mercenary Iberian Swords should do well in that engagement. I'm just not able to catch his Noble Horse there, so that was annoying. A unit of Carthaginian cavalry dying without doing much good. Tribal warriors are beasting it out against a unit of Mercenary Samnites and a unit of late Libyan Hoplites. The Libyan infantry is being fired upon in the flanks from these Celtic skirmishers, and they are going to die without doing much, really. So here is Noble Horse coming in for my skirmishers, and he just missed them. Well, he did manage to stab that guy, so... but I was able to counter-charge fairly effectively and destroy a lot of Noble Horse. Now I just need to screen away these raiding horsemen. And I make some more mistakes here. Instead of just putting these late Libyan hoplites over here, I'm going to charge them in. I'm doing well against the Levy Freeman, of course. The Oathsworn general is running away. He took a lot of casualties from my Balearics. But the Noble Horse just managed to get to my skirmishers, just managed to cause some casualties, but nothing major yet. So now I really need to protect my skirmishers, because my skirmishers are all I have left to deal with the Oathsworn. I can't tank it out against the Oathsworn with these mercenary Samnites and the Libyan infantry. It's just too powerful. So I'm sending my general in to get at the Celtic skirmishers, try and destroy them before they can get to my skirmishers. And here I'm making a mistake with my late Libyan hoplites. I'm not screening my skirmishers with my late Libyan hoplites, and that is disastrous, because that is going to allow the raiding horse to do their thing. I'm trying to stop the Oathsworn here by sending in mercenary Samnites from both sides. They are attacked in the rear and surrounded, but these are Oathsworn, so they're not going to care much. Another mistake here. I'm going to send in the Carthaginian cavalry into the tribal warriors. The tribal warriors were able to defeat my Libyan infantry, but my Libyan infantry did get a lot of nice kills there. So 1 unit of raiding horse stopped. Here I make mistake number 4. I'm sending the Carthaginian cavalry in against this engaged raiding horse, turning it around just in time to stop that unit. But I don't have enough cavalry here to stop my skirmishers, and this is where I should have had that unit of late Libyan hoplites. I have no idea where I put it. I might just have wasted it. Yeah, I wasted it by sending it in against Oathsworn. So where I could have used it to screen my skirmishers, I failed to do that, and that is basically going to cost me the game. Because look at what my opponent has left here. He has two depleted units of raiding horse. He has mainly all of these heavy infantry, Oathsworn. I'm doing fairly well at this point, but here is the game ending point for me. This unit of raiding horse is able to charge into my mercenary Balearic slingers completely unopposed, and that was due to me using too many units in this blob and not protecting my skirmishers. So whereas the skirmishers almost have full ammo and should be able to do a lot of damage to these Oathsworn, now I don't have that option. Getting a rear charge against the tribal warriors, able to break that unit, but me failing to protect my skirmishers here is going to make them charged by raiding horse, and the Balearic slingers are going to get destroyed by raiding horse. This one unit is going to do so much damage to my mercenary Balearic slingers. And now I'm getting surrounded in the infantry department. His general has effectively been neutralized, but this Oathsworn unit is getting massive amounts of kills. My mercenary Samnites are not effective against these, not very effective anyway, but the plan was to snipe with my skirmishers, but since I failed to protect my skirmishers and the very annoying raiding horse managed to get to my skirmishers, here more micro mistakes. I'm sending my cavalry away instead of going for the raiding horse, but I did mess up massively and letting my very important Balearic slingers get charged. So I'm going to lose all of these engagements. The Oathsworn are just going to tank it out against my mercenary Samnites. My Samnites are going to get charged by tribal warriors, and although I'm doing well here, that won't last long, because another Oathsworn unit is going to rear charge my Libyan infantry and my mercenary Samnites. And now I only have these super depleted units left. I'm just going to fast forward a bit. Imagine if at this point I had 2 full units of mercenary Balearic slingers, and I would have been able to just fire at this Oathsworn unit. Look at how quickly he's going down to the depleted slinger unit, and imagine there are 2 slinger units here doing what I'm doing here. I probably would have been able to snipe his general, and that would have been a GG at this point. But still, he did what he needed to do. He took out my skirmishers, and I wasn't able to protect them. So that's unfortunate for me and good for my opponent. This unit of tribal warriors is going to do something a bit funny. It's exhausted, so it's not going to be able to catch my Balearics. It's just going to screen them away from the general, I assume. It's going to use this raiding horse unit, it's exhausted, to try and bait me. My Carthaginian cavalry is only tired, so I'm just going to have attack orders on the raiding horse to dissuade them from charging in anywhere. But then this unit of tribal warriors just ignores my mercenary Iberian swords. And here you'll see just how dangerous that can be, because they are trying to charge my mercenary Balearic slingers. And here you will see 80 mercenary Iberian swords taking down the same number of tribal warriors. And that's due to exhaustion and due to them being attacked in the rear. So very nicely done by the mercenary Iberian swords. Firing some shots in to finish off the raiding horse. The tribal warriors are down, and again, if I had my 2 units of Balearics at this point, it would have been a GG, but now it looks like it's a GG in favor of my opponent. He's going to wisely move into the forest, and I thought these Celtic skirmishers were out of ammunition. They were not, so they're going to get some nice volleys off on my general, and now I don't have a snowball's chance on the pyramids of getting out of this battle with my men alive. Taking another volley, and this is just horrible for me. I'm just going to send in my cavalry in frustration to try to get at these Celtic skirmishers, firing a bit more at the Oathsworn, but I'm quickly running out of ammunition, and firing into the forest is of course not very effective either. So popping Race Banner and Inspire on my guys, charging the tribals. I managed to get the Oathsworn to waver, I think. No, I don't. That was a figment of my imagination. And again, Tylis beat Carthage. Mainly due to the Oathsworn, the tribal warriors, and the raiding horse. If I just had been able to keep my slingers alive. And 150 and 120 kills on Iberian swords, very good. I'm not happy with the performance of my Sam Knights, but I did micro them poorly, and I did not use my late Libyan hoplites the way they are meant to be used, and that is to protect skirmishers. So good game, well played to Telemnar Numenorean. I think that's 6 battles in a row where Tylis has defeated Carthage. And I picked the faction first. I picked the map, so Telemnar countered me with Tylis, which is a good faction to use against Carthage. And not bringing an elephant might be a questionable choice. Bringing an elephant seems like a given, and indeed they could have done amazing work on the tribal warriors and the Oathsworn in the late game. I'm just too worried about what the raiding horse can do and how quickly they can do it against elephants. They can run across the map to get at the elephants from anywhere in what seems like seconds. But it could have been a good idea to take out 2 mercenary Sam Knights and bring in an elephant. That could have been a smart choice here against Tylis if I had been able to stay away from the raiding horse, screen them away with my own cavalry, for example. Then that could have been a good idea. Anyway, game number 3 is upcoming between me and Telemnar, but it's actually the second game we played. And again, this is the Cup of Nations tournament, or just the Nations tournament. It's a tournament hosted by Diplomat that is run over at his Total War Online forums. A lot of participants, around 100 I think, and I am on Team Scandinavia with some other good players. And now we're playing against the Czech team, and this was my first series of matches against a player from the Czech team, the Telemnar. So one more game in this round and we'll see how it goes. The score is 1-1. Strength and honor.